Hello everyone. Welcome to the Main Street Sites website basics video. In this video, we're going to go over some simple things you can do to get started with your Main Street Sites website. We're going to look at picking a template and a color scheme, how to make changes to the menu of your website, setting some font and color options for your site. We'll take a look at the vaults where you add pages and images and files. We'll see how you edit your built-in pages, and we'll see how you use the editing toolbar. So let's take a look. Let's see here. Here we are on the back end of Main Street Sites. We've just logged in, and where we're going to spend our time on this particular video is on the website tab. And if you go to the website tab and you've just had your free trial account created for you, you'll see a bunch of things are highlighted for you. We see that site options is highlighted here, built-in pages, and over in this vaults column, we've got the page vault highlighted. So we'll be stopping at those places along the way on this video. The first thing I always like to show people, though, is this button over here on the right, the View My Site button. And that's super important because when we click that, we'll switch over to the customer-facing side of your website as we've got here. And you'll see in this case, we've just got the beginning website. There's a default slideshow, as there always is. There's a default menu. And we've got some sections here to be filled in. We've got our welcome section, our news section, subscribe to our mailing list, contact us. All these things are kind of waiting to be filled in. And for now, they're just sort of have some dummy content in them. So let's switch back to the back end and see how you'd start updating those things. So here we are on the landing page. It's got the list of recent enhancements. You can take a look at that in your spare time if you like. Let's go back to that website tab. And the first thing you would go to would be Site Options. And there on Site Options, we've got a list of templates, and we've got a list of color schemes for that template. So maybe I like this template, but I really want to switch to the green color scheme. If I do that and I click Save, I can switch back over to the other side and refresh that and get my nice green color scheme. And that's just a real simple demonstration of how this templates page works. You can pick a different template entirely. You can pick a different color scheme with that template, save it, and the website will update just as you'd expect. Let's do one more just for fun here. We'll switch to this. We'll save it. And if we switch over here and refresh, if all goes well, we've got our new color scheme and our new layout. So you can do that as much as you like. Find a combination that works for you. And once you've picked that, we can customize a little bit more. So we'll be looking at how we do further updates to that color scheme and layout later. But let's say you've picked your template, you're ready to move on. Let's take a look at your menu because that's one that an item that comes up very often. Let's switch here to the front end. We've put in some sample things for you in your menu, but maybe you don't want a payment page. Maybe you're not using our back office. You don't want that there. You don't want the calendar. You want to add testimonials, whatever the case might be. Over here back on the back end, still in Site Options, we're going to go to Custom Menu. And that's where the menu is described. And here we see all those items from the menu, the home page, teachers, classes, register, calendar, etc. They're all listed here in the menu. And if I decided I didn't want that payment page, just like I said a minute ago, I'm going to hover over it and pick Delete and say OK. And I've just taken it out of the menu. That page is still there. I can add it back if I change my mind, but I've just updated the menu. Similarly, maybe I want the teacher's bio page to come a little further down. I can just drag that a little further down. And maybe if I click on teachers, we don't call them teachers in this business. We call them staff or our team. That's always a nice way to say it. So we say our team. So if I save that change to my menu item, that's what the menu will show. And if I switch to the front end and just do a quick refresh, we should see that now we've got our new menu with our team for our teacher bios, and we took out our payments page. So some simple examples of how you change the menu. There are some other neat things with the menu. We won't go too in depth, but we'll just take a quick look. If I click on classes here, here's my menu item. We talked about a quick update to the caption, which we did. You can also customize that font if you want a particular menu item to be bold or specially colored or all of them to be different colors. You can do that with this little caption font option. Here down below, it's telling us what the menu item points to. We pointed to this one, the classes page, but it could point to any of the built-in pages that come with Main Street Sites. And this account happens to also have back office, so we've got a lot of choices here with our makeup scheduler and demo scheduler and all kinds of neat stuff that you can point to with a menu item. And a couple other things here that we're going to get into in just a minute. You could point to a page, a blank page in your page vault, or a file you've uploaded to your file vault, or these other ones are to point to a completely different site, or nothing at all if you want to have a little spacer in your menu. The last item on the menu, last thing to look at with the menu item is, you can have it indented. This is just saying, hey, this item, really, I want to have it indented underneath register or something like that. You can have a two-tier menu if you use that option. And the final bit here is you can have it hidden. If you're allowing people to log in to their accounts, you can have, say, a log off item that only appears when they're logged in, or a log on item that only appears when they're not logged in. Things like that you can do if you'd like with your menu options. Okay, we talked about the menu. What would we want to do next? The things that typically come up is people want to customize their site. They've got some look. Let's see here. We've got our default look for the template, but perhaps you want a slightly different color for the menu or the title or whatever the case might be. That's easily done. I'll just illustrate a few options here. The first one is display options, this tab we're picking here, the second tab. And there you've got some font options first and some additional color options for the menu. So more menu color font options that you can pick on. We're not going to get into all of them. And if you want to use a font other than the default fonts, you can click Add here and pick some additional fonts. Similarly, the template options tab, that is going to be specific to whichever template you chose. And some templates don't have this option. But let's assume the template you picked does, and here you'll see all kinds of fun options that will go with your template. There'll be colors, there'll be controlling how the slideshow works, lots of colors, fonts, options like that. I'm just going to scroll briefly here to illustrate that there are a lot of choices. We're obviously not going to go through all of them. If you have any questions about, hey, I want this button to be a certain color, or I want round corners on my button instead of square corners, just talk to support. We'll get it done for you. Or if you're ambitious, you can find it if you take a look at the different settings. Adding borders, all kinds of neat stuff like that. All right, we're going to scroll back up. We were talking about customizing there. That is good. Let's move on. So we've talked about picking your template and your style. We talked about updating the menu. And we talked about picking some color options if you want to make some changes. Let's do a couple more things. Let's talk about your Vault section. Over here in the website menu, we've got a section called Vaults, and from there we can update all the things you might want to use with your website. Typically people want to upload some images. You would do that in the Image Vault. If you want to upload some files like a PDF that you want to give to your customers, you can upload that in your File Vault. If you want to add new blank pages to your site, you'll want to do that in the Page Vault. And there are a couple other ones that are a little more advanced. Your slideshows will live in the Media Vault. Snippet Vaults, if you're using some more advanced code you're getting from some third party, like Facebook or Google wants you to add some little code to your pages, you can throw that in the Snippet Vault. Component Vault is if you want to create some widgets for your classes and put them on different pages. Those are all more advanced topics you can see in the online help, or you can watch one of our other videos. Let's take a look at the Image Vault and do a sample upload. So if we go to the Image Vault, we've got here a couple images that have already been added. We'll go down to Add, and we'll click on Add Multiple Images. And if we click here, a little window will come up, and I've got a logo here that I'd like to upload. So I'm going to double click that and click Upload Now. And I could have uploaded a whole bunch of images at that time, but I've just done the one. I'm going to say save, and I've added this logo to my Image Vault. What can we do with that image now? We can do all kinds of things with it. Here's a simple example. I can go to Website, Site Options, and Settings. And I can, let's see, find the logo option, use the following image for my site title. I'm going to set it to logo. And then that image I put in my image vault will now be used as a logo for my site if I did it right. And there it is. So that's just one example of what the image vault can be used for. But more commonly, we're going to go to our pages and we're going to be able to insert images onto pages. So if we go to website and built-in pages, we can see a list of the pages on the site. There's the home page, the teacher page, the classes page, etc. Let's just click on the home page for fun here. And we'll see a couple things that we'll want to take into account. We've got a couple different text areas on the page. You'll remember there were a couple different areas where there were opportunities to put in text. We've got here a site greeting and an introduction area, and there's going to be an address too down at the bottom. So just for an example here, let's go to the introduction, and we're going to illustrate a few things you can do with when you're editing your pages. You can use bold and italic and underline as you would in any word processor. We could apply that here if we wanted to, and just the way that you'd expect. There's this T with an X here. That just removes formatting from the highlighted area, so we can use that to remove that formatting. There's a bunch of other neat things in here. We'll just kind of buzz through it quickly. There's a hyperlink thing if we wanted to add link to a different page. Let's see, I wanted to here. I could click on the link and have that link to the classes page. I could say, oh, I want to link to a built-in page, and I want to link to the classes page. And that would make a little link to one of my built-in pages. Other areas of note, what I really wanted to get to here was the image insert option. So let me just make a little space. And if I click on this thing that looks a little bit like a picture, and I've got my image vault selected here at the top, and I can see the images that I uploaded. And you might remember there are some dance-related images here, and this shows me what they might look like if I were to use them, how big they are. Often you'll want to reduce those in size a little bit. Maybe I'll change this height to 100 instead of 200. And from here you could do a couple things like add a border or add some space. We can put some numbers in here to kind of give a little space around that image. And we can even have it float to the right or float to the left the way images on web pages do. So let's just finish that example by saying OK here, and we've inserted this right floating image, and then we can put text here, and the text will flow around the image, which we can see on the web page when we save it. Other things to mention, just a couple other things about the inserting images. So we talked about the image vault. There are stock images as well, and if you, for example, were a dance studio, there are a bunch of dance images you can pick from. We won't go too deeply into that now. There's some other options for inserting images as well. Take a look at those if you're curious. Other things to mention while you're editing web pages here, this play button is for inserting media vault items like slideshows and YouTube videos. This little greater than less than thing will insert snippets, components for this one here. This is for inserting tables. This is for inserting what they call horizontal lines, horizontal rules, dividers, and the little omega symbol here for various symbols. So lots of neat things you can do, and there are more options here too. In fact, you may see a smaller option here for your editing toolbar. I've got it on the expanded version. This little less button here would put me down to the simplified version, which is probably what you're seeing. So you'll see this more button and the less button. Okay, so that was just a couple things you can do with your editing toolbar and editing pages. I just mentioned one more thing in passing about images. We talked about the image vault and going to the image vault to add images. There's a quicker shortcut kind of way you can do that if you wanted to. You can just drag and drop right into the editor, and that will upload the image for you, and it adds it right to the image vault automatically. And if you need to resize that or add some options, you can double click it just as if you had added it from the image vault. I'm going to say cancel here. I'm not going to save these changes, but if we did want to save them, we could say save and return, and they would be on our website. And that would update automatically, just as you would expect. Okay, that's the end of our quick walkthrough of website features. There's a lot more there that we can get into. Please take a look at our more detailed videos, Or as always, just go into the help system, click on General Help, and the help structure in the help system will follow the back office menu. So if you go to the website section, go back into Vaults or General, all those things will be there described with additional topics and things for you to investigate. Okay, thanks so much.